ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our workshop that is themed Youth Engagement through Sports and the Performing Arts, Models That Work. Now, this afternoon we have quite a panel to give us some insight on the particular areas of sports and the performing arts. Now, many of us would see sports and the performing arts as perhaps peripheral strategies, but for those of us who know the power of these areas, we know that they can be life-changing. And so this afternoon we want to engage in a discussion that will enrich not only dialogue, but also ensure that at the end of the day we walk away with tangible strategies as to how to make these areas become mainstream. And so, just to place the context, sports and the performing arts are powerful vehicles to engage and empower by the church and the opportunities for diaspora investment and expansion. And so to this end, we want to highlight the three main objectives of the session. The first one is to explore present provision in this area and identify gaps in the current offering. Now, this will be done through not only the panelists, but from all of us. And so we want to have a kind of collaborative approach to solving some of the issues that arise. The second one is to identify how and where the church can contribute by initiating, running, and supporting sports and performing arts initiatives. And thirdly, to outline three new initiatives that could be initiated in the areas of sports and the performing arts that are designed to engage and empower young people. Now, we want to place particular emphasis on the empowerment of the youth. A lot of times we have the engagement, but that is limited. And so we want to ensure that when we leave here, we can see specific steps that can be taken. And so on our panel this afternoon, we have Mr. Isaiah Raymond, the founder of Raymond and Company. And after I've introduced them, I'm going to ask each of them to state briefly what they want us to know. Next, we have Mr. Andre Berger from Whole Life Sports Ministries. We have Mr. Jason O'Shea, and we have Miss A.J. Dixon. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome. And so I'm going to start with the gentleman from my far left, and I'm going to work my way over the table.
Good afternoon, everyone. Yes, Whole Life Sports, pretty much been involved in sports ministry and the work using sport as a tool for transformation, working with the local church to equip and empower to be more effective and relevant in the communities. Having played sport myself and the value of sport and coming to knowing Jesus and wanting to use that opportunity to share my faith with others is part of why I'm passionate, and hopefully this discussion will help us as well. Thank you.
Hi, I'm AJ, and I'm involved in the performing arts from a company called Performing Hearts Ministry. I did not add my age. It is hearts, as in bringing the heart of God to the community and to the world. And the performing arts, we're all actors, every Jamaican. We're all very expressive. And so we use this tool through my local church to bring the word in a different light to people so that there can be a better understanding. And then when we get them, then we deal with them in the team to be better citizens by the way how they express themselves, and in different ways, time management, leadership, all of that. And so that's where we're headed and where we're at in bringing people who are changed into how they can now live for Christ through this medium.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Isaiah Raymond. I'm from London, England. I represent an organisation called Love Life UK Outreach. For using sports and entertainment, we go into communities, particularly going into prisons up and down the UK. We go in, we do vocal training, we do Christian services, we do concerts, we do Black History events, and through the power of music and sports, we preach and teach transformation. We found that this generation is very sight-sound orientated. They're very image conscious. So we've also got to understand that to engage with them, we have to disempower to empower. So we use music and sports to show life principles and life coaching. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Jason O'Shea. I'm also known as DJ Reds, and I survived my DJ. I'm also a missionary full-time, and I'm based in London town. And I run a sound system, a reggae sound system, and I've been running it for 15 years. We play strictly Christian artists, and yeah, we play reggae. We don't play what I would call church music. We play reggae music. You understand? So we use it as a tool to communicate the gospel. And we go anywhere we can go and use the sound. So in London, we do there's a big carnival in London. 3 million people pass through it. We take the sound out. We preach Christ. The vision that I personally have for Jamaica, and it's been 15 years in my heart, is to connect with local churches, to take the sound, to go to the least reached people, communicate the gospel in a way that's palatable, that they can understand, and direct them to the local church. And we have the means and the tools to do that experience. I've been a DJ for about 30 years. I used to play for the biggest bashment sound system in Europe called Lord Geddes. So I played with Stone Love and Kilimanjaro and all this out. So that is where I'm coming from, and that is where I'm bringing it in the same mannerism. You understand? So, and I know that's very difficult for many churches to really understand that, but I gotta say Jamaica has affected the world on a level that a lot of people don't understand. Hip-hop music came from Jamaica. DJ Kool Herc is a Jamaican. DJ Kool Herc is seen as the godfather of hip-hop. So if you can understand the impact of Jamaican music and culture across the globe. In England, London, we get people that come from different parts of Africa. They come to London. They give them 2 weeks, they will be speaking patois. They will be having Jamaican culture and customs. You understand? So imagine now if Jamaican music was godly, and if that music was going out into the world. You know what I'm saying? So I believe so strongly in it. And the music, the reggae music, over 30 years, I've seen the reggae music deteriorate. So what I see and what they're playing now in the hotel, you hear it everywhere. And our young people are hearing that 24/7. That we're talking about, we're going to educate them, do this, that, the other. They're hearing 80%, they're hearing out on the street, they're hearing that whether you like it or not. And we have the opportunity, we have lots of young artists in Jamaica, we have an amazing gospel reggae scene here in Jamaica. We need to get behind this. I'm talking too much. So
And we're off to a great start. So ladies and gentlemen, again welcome. My name is Jermaine Nair. I believe that all the hats that I wear are relevant to this particular session. I'm one of 3 business partners for Reclaim Entertainment, and it's a Christian entertainment company, newly formed. And of course, music is an integral part of change. And one of the issues that we found is that young Christians can hardly find entertainment. Entertainment that is at an acceptable standard, and entertainment that is done in excellence. You know, we become so used to Christian events being mediocre and free. But I'm going to pause there. That's hat number 1. Hat number 2 is that I'm the deputy director for the Church on the Rock Star Youth Camp, the annual camp that Pastor Fletcher spoke about not too long ago. And in that camp, 2 of the strategies that we use are the arts and sports. And in a week, the difference that we see in these youth is absolutely amazing. And so that's for that. The third hat that I wear is that I'm a lecturer of politics and criminology with specific interest in rehabilitation through the arts. And so for me, seeing the topic alone, the theme, got me excited. And so ladies and gentlemen, I'm looking forward to a very rich discussion. And so the first question that I'm going to ask our panelists is, based on the impact that Jamaican sports and music have had on the world, how do you think the church can leverage these to create greater impact locally?
So I was pausing. I'm trying to pause so I don't talk too much. But for me, seeing in particularly gospel reggae music, and I'm sure we can apply the model to many different aspects, but with gospel reggae music, Jamaica has got a wealth of talent that I personally know. Each one of them, I can introduce you to them. So I'm saying there's a wealth of talent, but the church needs to support that. The church needs to make a parallel to what is out there, what the secular music is putting out, what the radio stations are putting out. The churches need to get behind and support it. Support the artists and set up a system that is the same, has the same reach through the radio stations and through shows and through concerts and encourage the young people, those that have the talents. When I started doing gospel reggae, people were a bit frightened. They felt that the church, wouldn't did that reggae, so they didn't use their talent that God has given them. And now I've seen a lot of people being freed up, and a lot more young people, artists are coming out. And there's so many young artists that are struggling. They struggle with studio time to even get recordings done in the first place. And they can make money voicing doublets. There's ways, there's avenues for those young people to make music that's glorifying God, that their peers are going to listen to and appreciate and like, and also to make a living for themselves. There's many avenues to do that. So for me, the churches need to get behind that and support it.
Personally, I believe that the church is in a very powerful position to change the very climate in the mindset of young people in this country. Let's make no joke about it. The Bible tells that a man's gift makes room for him and takes him before great men. There are many, many gifted young people in this country. And with each and every gift that is in this country, there is room. And with every room with that gift is a place of transition. And what I believe the church needs to do in this nation is to start a national talent screening. A national talent screening with all the churches coming together, going parish by parish, looking for newfound talent, getting behind it, supporting it, empowering it, and sending it onto the various platforms. There are people in this nation, where are they? They're sitting in lanes in the country, they're sitting in inner city rooms, singing, doing poetry, doing dancing, not knowing that one day their time is going to come. How do I know that? 24 years ago, I was a crack cocaine dealer. I was a thief, I was a robber, I went to prison for armed robbery. I gave my life to Christ in the prison cell, and I said to God, if you give me a voice to sing, I'll travel the world and preach the gospel in line with prophecy that will make of my life as a child. 25 years later, I'm a prison minister, I'm an evangelist, I'm a multi-award-winning recording artist, traveling, sharing the gospel. Where did it start for me? In a prison cell. But somebody took the time to come into the prison, share the gospel, vocal train me, and now I'm a qualified vocal trainer, and I go into communities, inner cities, and I train people and empower them. So we have the answer. If we're the salt of the earth, how do we salt the chicken if we're not on it? How do we jerk the chicken if we're not applied? So we have to go into the communities, into the very inner city areas that we pray for. Stop praying, start saying. Pray and go. Engage, disengage in order to engage. Understand that we have young men bleaching their skin and tattooing their faces like Vincent van Gogh. Understand that their minds are being influenced by another culture. We're going to have to go in and disempower that culture and give them kingdom culture, and we will see change that will last. Thank you.
The performing arts team that we have, I can tell you, my church has been very supportive to it. But can I tell you that a performing arts team cannot be run by just performers? For us to be there as in like any other, like the church, go out there professionally, it takes money. And that we don't have. Because if you have you engage and you carry a big sound and have a good lighting, for the stage and everything, it costs money. And then you go and you say to the church, all right, we're having this production, this show is running from this to this, and the cost is $1,000. We get a free ticket now. So we are the enemy of ourselves. Yeah? And so I believe our way forward to help this, that he's saying, for greater impact. The greater impact is going to come when we, the church, begin to support each other. We're so divided, and my church, and come to my church, and my church have this, and we don't want to support anybody else. Yeah? And so if we come together, better things will happen and we reach greater people. Because your church may have the sound system that I need for my production.
That's right.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Your church is gonna have the lighting that I need, but I can't put on my production because my little church and the little money, $2 million to put on this big production and you not paying $1,000, you know, it's us. We are the enemy against ourselves. And until we become as one and then reach out to the people out there, unfortunately, it's not going to happen.
As it relates to sports, it's messy. One of the challenges that we face is that the church don't want to partake in any of the things relating to it. So there's cursing, there's weed smoking, there's lifestyles that the church don't want to associate themselves with. And so our first task is to not see ourselves as inviting to church, but we need to go out there where they are. And it means that it's very uncomfortable. So I believe from a church perspective, the view has to be that we're willing to go. Many of the people, the influences that we have as coaches or even teammates is far greater than a pastor or an elder or a praise and worship leader. And so it's just a different approach when it comes to sports. And I'm sure I'm speaking in the same with the music as well. Yeah, we need to go out there and we need to befriend them. We need to be their teammates, we need to be their coaches. And when they see that you care for them, then they begin to ask questions and they allow you into their lives. And so I believe the church has a huge responsibility and an opportunity to do it. So whether it's the reggae boys, whether it's track and field, all of these athletes and players are youth that we have access to in our high schools and our prep schools before they become stars. And if we are able to reach out to them earlier, this is not waiting and aligning ourselves with them because they're Usain Bolt and a soccer player. But before they become the national coach and before they become the star player, you have an opportunity to come alongside them and mentor them and to be life coaches to them and help them to figure their way out. So when they do go out onto that playing field or go out there and become a national coach or even just a coach of a school team, they have the support of the church. They can't come to Bible studies, they can't come to the same service on a Sunday. It's different. So that approach from the church is to understand what the world that they're living in is, not to accept it, but to understand it. But then to go in there and say, look, I understand that you can't come to the Bible study, I understand you can't come to church, but how can I serve you?
Yes.
Thank you.
Question to someone and to AJ as well. Comment on how you can get sponsorship, because again, AJ is saying she need help, you know, and if Jamaica Brothers might sponsor the event and maybe ABC Electrical. But could you comment on your big gigs and so on? How do you get sponsorship?
I'm going to surprise you with my answer because we don't. We don't. It's been a struggle. Our church is a small church. It's not pastors in here. We put on events. We do our own events. I'm employed by London City Mission, so I can eat and I can have something to live, and I get to share the gospel 24/7. It's my job to share the gospel, and the sound is seen as part of that. So God provides. So I'm hoping someone else can give the answer about sponsorship.
Before you give me the Christianity though, because you say you used to some big song, how did they go song get sponsorship?
Well, in those ways, the sound is well known. So the sound I played for was Lord Gillies, and Lord Gillies was a well known sound. So people would book the sound to play at an event. The promoters would go, and most of the promoters would drug money. So that's the reality. The dances that were put on was all about flamboyance and showing how much money you got. And they would fly, I told you not to run over. They would fly, it's a show, it was all show. This money, that money. So sponsorship, I'm still not answering your question. But I'll be real, I only ever told the truth, and I'm telling you, this is how it was. Sponsorship, obviously there's ways to get sponsorship. We have Jermaine Edwards, who is sponsored, he's signed by Digicel. So there are Jamaican gospel artists that are getting sponsorship, that are getting supported, There is sponsorship out there. And in the kingdom, there's going to be someone who, I'm a selector, and I know how to play music. That's what I do. I know there's someone out there that knows how to get sponsorship. That's what you do. So I'm hoping that this meeting, people will realize, you know what, you can't just have AJ with the performing arts. She's doing production, and do you do accounts as well? I mean, how many aspects are you telling me? Do you understand? So I'm a sound man. I know how to build a big sound and to play the sound and to connect with people out the road. I don't know how to do those other things. And my prayer is that church comes together and we support one another. The accountant, the one that can get sponsorship, because there is funding. There's funding for many, there's many ways to access funding, you know. And by the way, in England, in Jamaica, wherever, there is many ways to access funding. And we need those with the talents to get it.
One of the issues, I'm going to come to you right after this. One of the issues that seem to be pervasive is the whole matter of the mindset. As members of some performance, as parts of the body of Christ, there seems to be a mindset that places little value, insufficient value, on the transformative power of sports and the arts. And so the question that I want to place on the table is, have we effectively marketed sports and the arts as tools of transformation? And I want to hear from audience members as well.
Yeah, I can speak very specifically to that. Pastor Al and I go way back. When he started Whole Life Ministries, I was on the first team to manage it. And I've always been involved in sports ministry through Christian Ambassadors Football since I was involved in 1982. And I've seen many lives transformed, both in terms of salvation and discipleship. The Whole Life Ministries, and this is not picking up any one church, I'm talking about the principle. I saw my own church, and I speak as a leader in my church now. Drop the ball. Football drew men into the church because they wanted to play football, not because they wanted to come to church. They came, and the coach said, you have to do this, that, jump through hoops, come to church, and Sunday you have to go to. They did it because they wanted to play football. One church, I'm talking about the principle. I saw my own church, and I speak as a leader in my church now. Drop the ball. Football drew men into the church because they wanted to play football, not because they wanted to come to church. They came, and the coach said, you have to do this, that, jump through hoops, come to church, and Sunday you have to go to. They did it because they wanted to play football. And we said to the men's ministry, guys, this is an ideal opportunity. You say to the leaders and also to the men's ministry, let's come out, get in, just, you can't play football, just come and just hang with the guys. Just build relationships. Just begin to mentor them. Just find out what they're doing at what they're doing with school. And it was like pulling teeth, because they felt maybe that it was, you had to invest time, you had to get involved personally in things that maybe you didn't think was the most productive use of your time, ministry-wise and otherwise. But you know what I found? The relationship you build with these guys not only allowed you to speak into their lives later, or we did not, we're not able to. So many of them, when the football wasn't playing, the season was out, they drifted back into their own lives. And many of them, years later, having so much kids, dead, gone to jail, we realize that we missed the opportunity. What am I saying? I'm saying that leadership first must understand the opportunity to be where people are at, not where we want them to be. Is to be where they're at. And sports and entertainment gives us the perfect platform to go where we have their attention and let the influence of God permeate them through relationship. It costs us our lives, our time, but that's where we're going to multiply disciples, not in some of the programs that we're focused on.
So a question, all right, go ahead.
I'm Nicola. Brad, and I'm so excited to hear what is happening in this room because, yes, I was saying I'm Nicola Brad. I'm very excited to hear what is happening here because for the last 9 years, I've been trying to get off the ground with a program called Jamaica Peaceful Paradise, the purpose of which is to change the mindset of the Jamaican people. And that means all the Jamaican people, the children, the adults, and to bring them with a different focus. And it is to be done through music. And I'm particularly interested in my person up there who says that he is an ex-convict, because I was a past probation officer, and I know that if you change the mindset of someone, everything else follows. And what has happened is that every little child and every adult can be singing every song on the radio. If you play an election song, the people might not even be going to vote, but they pick up the song and they're moving with it. So it's very important to understand how very influential is music. And we have things called Rising Star and all of these competitions. And I have been saying if we can arrange and get the backing for a competition very similar, where you can engage people who are already interested. But the only difference is that we are going to give them the topics for which they are to write. We don't need the ladies writing about how sexy and sweet they are and how they can take away people's pain and all these things. We need to put the message out there, give them the topics, and let them build the songs. Apart from which we would not let them build the songs in an individual mode, but we would let them do teamwork, because we want them to learn how to work with each other and how to be disciplined and how to form relations, because a lot of the breakdown is because we have lack of relations and everybody is for themselves. So if we do a teamwork, and the songs have to be done as team, and mentor them when they are building the songs, you put them, I think at one time Rising Star had done it where they put, say, an artist to train them. But what you would do, you put a producer to train one person, an artist to train another, a songwriter to train somebody else, so that at the end of the process, they have learned a skill. And with the groups, you carry the TV to follow them through their community as they are building these songs. The top 15 songs, you then run through the airwaves and insist that every single airwave, every radio, every TV must at least one time a day play one of those songs. And if you're constantly hearing it, then you get a subliminal message through the music, and you can start changing the mindset. I took this thing last year end, or the year end before, I don't even remember which, to the correctional services and asked them if we couldn't start a pilot in the prison. I said, Vybz Kartel is in prison. A number of artists are in prison. Well, I'm hearing their music all over the place, although they're in prison. Why aren't we giving them an assignment to put songs at the topics we want and run it through the areas of the prison and let that mindset change? There is a prison in the United States where they worked themselves out of prison by reading, and they got reduced sentences according to what had happened when they learned the information. And when they came out, it was not a repeat offender. And if we could change the mindset through music, I can guarantee you we will have reduced crime and violence. But nobody is putting the money to it. And I, poor me, don't have the money. So we're back at that. Right outside, I have in my vehicle that is waiting out there, the Jamaica Peaceful Paradise, which was redone over and over. And I asked somebody to do a project for me in a proposal to go to USAID. They did it. I paid $100,000 at the time to get it in the format that USAID needed, because they had asked if anybody had any programs. It was not even acknowledged. And I have not been able to get a sponsor. And I know that if we can start working, if the church would back something like that, put up something that mirrors Rising Star, because people are running behind it. They're running behind dancehall, dynamite, they're running behind all sorts of things. Put out these things and let poetry be part of it, let dance be part of it, and then you'll be surprised to see what a change we can make in Jamaica.
And it was very interesting that there was no kind of an issue among them. But then it drew people out, and they were very keen on listening. And it was stitchy, I think, at the time, and the other sound system. I realized it worked. And recently we had a conversation with Coca T and some other people, and they were saying, well, if you could pull that off, we would be willing to come. He said, I went to church 6 times on a Sunday because of how we were brought up. So there are entertainers that are willing to come together with a church-like atmosphere, a dance setting that would work. In the military, we shut the dance hall down 1 year. What's that? They shut the dance hall down 1 year, one for a period, and the crime rate went up. So because I used to be a part of a crime-fighting body, when we went around, they were saying, well, the reason why we had to rob was because we used to go there because it was kind of therapeutical. When you were stressed, you could go somewhere and you would ease off all that vibes they would say or whatever. So when they didn't have anywhere for an outlet, they started doing other things, which is why it is effective if you use the music that they have to pull them in. And then I've known what it is like to curfew a dance by the Holy Spirit. So we pray there and everybody get arrested, people start speaking in tongues. It happens. It has happened. And I've been a part of that. It worked. So with our mission trip, when we came to Jamaica recently with 40 people, we went from St. Anne's Bay, we went to Trenchtown, Rema, and to St. Thomas. We had like workshops with people, getting people to sing and to do different stuff. You could engage them in many different ways. So you are pulling out what people have in different ways you're doing it. But what it is that today we have all the people, the resources before us. And what they're saying to us is, we are willing to give what we have and pull out what you have here to make it work. So when I listen, I'm thinking, one of the largest churches in the UK, this pastor called Asher Malua, you know what he did? He provoked attention. I think he brought boxing or wrestling, this big wrestling into London. And when he did it, people were interested in the sport. And then after that, his church didn't get small anymore. It just got very large. So you never know how sports could really trigger the attention that you really need. It is what the Holy Spirit will say to people that I'm giving individuals assignment, and if we all get behind the assignment instead of analyzing, just get behind the assignment. There are people that are locally and overseas that you could just communicate. We need one voice. So if you listen to us, you the voice, and you speak to people, whether locally to our pastor, is he gone? He's still here. Yeah. And you speak to these people, you'll find that we could pull together and we could be more effective with just the little people that we have here and these youth that we have behind us here, because we can make that great difference. Everybody that we need is here, right before us. So I'm just saying, be encouraged.
Indeed. I like those strategies. Sound clash, the competition. It sounds directly in line with Reclaim Entertainment, with our vision at Reclaim Entertainment. So the CEO of Reclaim Entertainment is sitting right here, one of my business partners. So we'll have to expand on that. I'm going to take your comment or question, and then Roger Adams.
I'm happy you said that. That's amazing, because this is Montego Bay, and I know I am from Kingston, but I live in Montego Bay now. And I want to say something to us that maybe we don't understand. In Montego Bay, where our church is located, we go in with sports, we go in with the music, but this one can't come over here, so they have borderlines, okay? They have borderlines in the communities that you cannot come over on this side. Don't come over on that side. Stay over there, and you stay over there. You understand? But we can't deal with it like maybe Kingston. It's different down here. And one of the things that troubles me is this. These guys play sound every Friday night. As you said, the sound clash, the pastor said, every Friday night is a big sound down in them one side and the other side. You understand? Now, your suggestion, take on. Now, if we as a church come together and put a sound in the middle,
That's right.
And put themes down over there and say, all right, you, meet me, clash with me, the Christian, let me see what you have. You understand? Each side is going to be there, but I can tell you, we would reach so many of them. So I agree with what you're saying, but I say, is a church ready? Because if we go in and we do this, how many church people come against us?
Yes.
Oh, what? Sound clash? I was in Kingston during those days when they had the sound clashes with Pastor Al. And they did talk, right? But again, we want to move and people and plead with you. The nation can be changed, but we have to have the things to help it change. And we cannot do it alone. Again, it's a partnership.
Indeed. Just before the question or comment from you, Roger. You know, when you speak of the divisions which exist and the fact that one particular side can cross to the other side, what immediately comes to mind is the scenario with our youth at the Star Youth Camp at Church on the Rock. Because the truth is, we get youth from disparate communities, warring factions, the full work. So much so that we have houses for sports, and we'll have colors assigned to houses. And one of the things that we quickly learned was that a child from X community who has an armband that is the color of the other community will not conform. And so it took, I would say, divine intervention, because at the end of the day, you don't want them to keep on to the values that the division is right. You want them to understand that we're coming together. And over the years, we've had it for 4 years so far, and over the years, we have seen a gradual decline in that kind of thing. And so, communities that would usually come together, we're seeing where the children have started that process of healing through the sports, because at the camp, they have to play together. Through the arts, they have to work together, and so they have started to come together. Now, imagine if we are to twin these natural strategies with the supernatural power of the Holy Spirit, how much we could achieve as a church. But I don't want to preach. Mr. Adams.
Hi, I am Roger Adams, the CEO of Reclaim Entertainment. I sit here in awe, really, of what it is that's taking place currently. This is indeed a divine appointment. Not just for me being here, because this wasn't a plan. I knew about this 2 days ago. Jermaine just called me and said, you just have to be here. And this is God's doing. So I don't want us to take it lightly that we're here. This is not just have a nice discussion. We have to hear of a plan.
That's right.
We're not supposed to leave this place, this room, and even go back into the conference, the bigger room, without having each other's links. Because this setting is not anything that it's divine. We have so many heads of the churches or whatever it is. We have power here. And a lot of the problem. So, alright. I try to keep it, yes. Okay, so Reclaim Entertainment. And it's exactly what it speaks to. It is reclaiming the nation through the highest quality of gospel entertainment. In fact, it's reclaiming the nations. Because somebody mentioned it earlier, what we have here is something that is contagious in Jamaica. Whatever we do here, everybody else wants it. And so once we can get it right, it will be exported like how we package our goods and send it overseas. Countries will call and want us to go to the UK to come and to give them what we have, to set up another, whatever it is. Now, we've started this summer. This was our first year of operations. And it was, I have been around, I have been a Christian long enough to have experience, or probably not old enough to have experienced the songs back then, the Christian songs. And so for me, this was a completely new thing because it isn't really happening now. And the Christians have become so watered down and so afraid to be bold, right? And so when we make our efforts or whatever it is, we don't put any effort into it. We're just doing a little thing. And so the quality, persons are not willing to pay for it. It's the reason why the mindset is like that of the church is because it's our fault. We haven't given them something to pay for. When I was in the secular world and I used to throw parties, or even now, people will spend their paycheck because there's quality. And we come into Christendom and we give God just we have to do a thing. And then we question why people want it free. And so the truth is what we have to do is to start all over. And the reason why it's so important is because in order to get these young people, my target market is 18 to 40, that's what the Lord put on my heart. And what we have to do is the heads have to influence these younger people and say, oh, but check this out. If once you guys push it and just let them come, because what we do, I ran a series over the summer, once a month, and when I say it was successful, but we had the same problems that you just discussed a while ago, which is we had to fund it ourselves. And so, yeah, we got a turnout, and we had an awesome time. People moved from dancing like crazy and sweating hard till the end of the night. The young people are literally prostrate on the ground, like bawling. Some people who are like, they've been waiting for this for so long. They've gone to so many avenues. They've been to the carnival. They've been to the things, not because there's nothing else. We offer them nothing. Or what we do offer is really nothing. It's mediocre. And the talent is here. We have it. We have it. So what we're going to have to do is to put away mediocrity in whatever it is that we're doing. It's better we don't do it if we're going to be mediocre about it. But when we do put on these things, we have to support each other as brethren. We have to. Amen. So I will preach for this. I think
I got the wrap-up signal, but I'm going to take. You want to respond?
Yes, please.
And I'm going to take a final comment or question.
I agree with you 100%. One of the areas I believe that the body of Christ is overlooking is social media. Not enough of us are using Facebook Live and these channels to actually show how good we are at what we do. We have amazing singers, dancers, poets, sound systems, but we're not engaging. And I came up with an idea called Social Media Sundays, where every one of us, you can write this down, Social Media Sundays, SMS, Social Media Sundays, where we have a particular Sunday where everybody will agree to go Facebook Live and we will construct a service that is based on talent, speaking in a language that unsaved people can understand. We will use artistry, we will use dance, we will use poetry, we will present the gospel in a way that is relevant, cutting edge, and sharp. We will dress down. We will dress down. Just like Jesus dressed down, he laid aside glory and put on human flesh. We will dress down. And that will be the image that we will project, and we will speak in tongues that they can understand. Jesus spoke about shepherds and seeds and blah, 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 because they agriculture. So we're going to speak the language of this generation, and we will understand that we are competing with Vibes Cartel, and we will give them the real deal. And we will do that once a month, and we will inconvenience ourselves to convenience them.
That's right.
And then after we put that out, we will then go into the communities and have open air events. Go to where they're at.
That's right.
And don't stop going until they start coming. Jesus said, unless I go, I won't come again. We have to go so they can come. God bless you.